talking about keto and paleo. We're talking about the difference between those diets because I have a lot of questions and I was thinking, why not? Let's do a video about it, okay? So guys, keto is as well known as Ketogenic Diet, LCHF diet, which is low carb, high fat. Paleo is also known as Paleolithic diet and the caveman diet. Okay, both are low carbs. Okay, now what is the difference on the low carbs? Different is the paleo diet has eat a little more carbs. They have more carbs like fruits and sweet potatoes. Ketogenic diet is only 5 to 10% of carbs, depending if you are full adapted or not. At the beginning, no more than 5 or 8% of carbs, and then most of the carbs are coming from the actually leafy greens or from dairy. Okay. And then so you basically are limited to the amounts of carbs that you eat in the ketogenic diet. Some people that are in ketogenic diet don't even eat carbs, so almost zero. I'm not gonna say zero because almost impossible. Some things have carbs even if you don't want to, even you don't know that. And then the other thing, let's talk about the fat. And the ketogenic diet is high fat. Almost all our food intake is coming from fat. The paleo diet is a moderate fat. Moderate because it's between 40 to 60% versus 70 to 80% or 85 sometimes percent fat in ketogenic diet. Yes, almost all the source in keto is from fat. And then paleo diet is a high protein, and ketogenic diet is a moderate protein. So you see, it's not the same. Many people think they're the same, but no. Paleo eats more protein. Okay, they eat about 40 to 50 or sometimes 60% protein, and it doesn't have to be totally lean. It can have some fat also. And the ketogenic diet, it has only like 25 to 30% of protein, and let's say 99% of the protein has to have fat. And what about the macros? Macros on paleo, okay, it's not necessary to follow macros. They're more concentrated food choices, like it's more about food choices. It's more about, okay, we're not eating this processed food, we're eating this because this is only one ingredient, and we're not eating refined sugar, we're eating just fresh fruits. So it's more about to follow the macros, track the macros. Why? Because we don't want to go over our carbs. Because if we go over our carbs or our protein, so we can be kicked out of ketosis, and that is the big mistake sometimes. Okay, that's why I don't believe in the carb cycle in the ketogenic diet. Okay, carb cycle can work for any other diet or any other lifestyle, but for ketogenic diet, I don't believe in that. Some people do it, they work for them, but when you are in the carb cycle, it kick you out of ketosis, and you have to go back to get a ketosis. So it's fine. Okay, you can do that. The thing is, if you are in ketosis, why you want to be out of ketosis? You know, fruits and the ketogenic diet. Only if you are full adapted, I would say berries. That's it. And that would be included in your 5 or 10% of carbs. So fruits have a lot of carbs. And then when you actually log the carbs or log the fruit in your macros, in your application, you're gonna see if you eat like a quarter of a cup of berries, you almost in your full day carb intake already. So that's why when I eat fruits, I do like once in a while, once in a week, two times in a week, but not every day. And of course, I have to track it. Paleo diets, you can eat any kind of fruits. You can eat bananas, you can eat, I see people eat mangoes and apples, okay? And then berries, of course, they eat berries. Yes, you can eat that. You can eat smoothies, okay? And they're fine with it. A lot of protein shakes because they eat high protein. In the ketogenic diet, dairy can be consumed. In keto, you are allowed to eat all kind of dairy, like cheese, cream cheese, or milk, okay? Any kind of dairy. My particular case, I don't drink milk. I try to be, like with dairy, I try to have, moderate intake of dairy, because when I realize when I eat a lot of dairy, sometimes I overeat my carbs. So that's why I try not to eat a lot of dairies and just, keep those and eat something else. That's it. But yes, but you're allowed to eat dairy in the ketogenic diet. Paleo, no dairy. So the difference between paleo and keto, one of the difference is paleo has food group restrictions and keto doesn't have food group restrictions. So in keto you can eat any food group. With the paleo, you're not going to eat like dairy, no grains. You cannot eat actually, of course, I don't think you can eat with any diet refined sugars or processed food. I don't recommend it. Okay, so even if it fits in your macros, I don't recommend it. With the paleo diet is for, because the high protein intake is more for people that have, goals like they want to build muscles and they're in the, lifting heavy weights and all the stuff, or CrossFit or anything like that. Ketogenic diet, yes, you can exercise, but it's more for people that are focused and burn fat and lose weight and be more like leaned out, okay? It's more for lose weight. It's more for people that's overweight and want to lose weight. And then it's a great way to do it because actually you don't have to cut your calories. You don't have to overtrain either, to burn the fat, because your body is actually a burn fat machine all day long, 24 hours. That's the great thing about ketosis. That's the great thing about a ketogenic diet. The other difference is the ketogenic diet, okay, achieve ketosis through fasting, through reducing carbs and increase fat. That's the way that you achieve ketosis. And paleo, okay, to achieve paleo is no eating the refined sugar or dairy or grains or salt. That's another thing that we're going to talk about. So that's the two different things. Yes, the sodium in the ketogenic diet, okay, is important. It's important the intake of sodium when we are in ketogenic, because we actually lose a lot of sodium and we lose magnesium and potassium. And then in the paleo, okay, they reduce the sodium. So they're trying to reduce the sodium to the max. Both recommend to eat like Himalayan salt or sea salt or Celtic salt. And in the case that when you want to eat salt, don't use table salt. But in keto, you need to have every single day 2 tablespoons of salt, so they give you the sodium intake that you need every single day, so you don't get headaches or you don't feel sick. Okay. And the other differences when you are in the ketogenic diet is to be on the ketogenic diet, you need to get in ketosis in order to lose weight. Okay, if you don't get in ketosis, you're not in the ketogenic, you're not losing weight. For paleo, you might get in ketosis, okay, sometimes. Depends of the macros, how you actually move your numbers and get in ketosis. They're probably not in ketosis all the time because the carbs and the protein consumed they have, but at some point they get in ketosis. They may get in ketosis, not necessary. But when you are in ketogenic diet, you need to be in ketosis. Both of these diets are anti-inflammatory. Okay, why? Because both diets are low carbs. So when you remove your carbs, your body don't suffer more inflammation. So yes, both are really good for anti-inflammatory. To get in ketosis, sometimes in the ketogenic diet, it can take several months to get adapted. It can take to 6 months to get full adapted. You can get in ketosis between 5 days to 2 weeks, but that's different than be adapted. So to get adapted, it might take up to 6 months. In paleo, you can get adapted in 2 or 3. Basically, that's the difference between one to the other one. Okay, so yeah, they're both good. You just have to pick what is better for you. You just have to see what works for you. For me, the paleo diet, it works, but not really, because I can get over my carbs. And when I realized at one point that I was eating paleo, I was actually seeing that I was eating a lot of carbs, and I wasn't losing weight. I wasn't losing pounds because I wasn't eating carbs. I'm very sensitive to carbs, so for me, ketogenic diet works way better, way better. When I remove carbs, it's totally different for me, and I really have a lot of energy. I don't have to complain. I work out and I love it. So I do have another video where I'm going to explain you about the intermittent fasting. Okay, so watch the video because it's a very interesting actually topic when you are in the ketogenic diet or even paleo. But ketogenic diet, I would say, is a very restricting carbs, but it have a lot of choices because you don't have food group restriction. So it's a balance, Some things are good here, some things are bad. Some things are, you just have to poop. Okay? Alright guys, thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Thank you.